With Renegades right around the corner, I wanted to do a series leading up to it, going over the best builds for each class and subclass. If you're a new or returning player, I really hope these videos can help get you started, as some of these builds are pretty crazy now. All of these builds are going to be made so you can use whatever weapons you would like to, but I will go over some recommendations that fit with each subclass. On top of that, these builds are not going to be taking advantage of any artifact perks, so you have a clean slate once Renegades launches. I am going to be recording these builds ahead of time, so if any patches come out to change this around, I will update the description down below. As a final note, there are a lot of great builds in Destiny, so if you have one that's similar to this one or even better, definitely be sure to drop it in a comment down below. Again, as this series is to give a place for new returning players to get back into the game a lot quicker. So with all that being said, if you enjoy, learn anything new, and are excited for Renegades, consider doing all the normal YouTube stuff. All of the support is what allows me to make series like this for you all, and I truly appreciate all the love that you show. But without further ado, let's jump into today's build. All right, everyone, we have made it to the final build in this series. 18 videos in a row, but we are finally on to the final build, and that is going to be the Solar Hunter. With this build, I tried to switch it up. Obviously with Still Hunt getting a buff, most people are probably going to run that, but I wanted to play something a little different here, because I'm sure you're going to see a ton of Still Hunt videos, but that is going to be the Ophidia Spade. So this has the exotic perk Scissor Fingers. Gain a second knife per charge. Getting a final blow with a throwing knife grants consecutive knives a temporary stacking damage bonus. Gambler's Dodge refreshes the bonus timer. So essentially the way this is going to work, you're going to be able to get a melee kill, and you're going to start stacking damage up. You have a timer here, as you see, it's like 5 seconds. You can get up to 3 stacks, and your melee is to do a ton of damage. If you use your dodge, it will actually refresh the cooldown, and all of this is going to play back into our subclass. But just know this is the core part of the build, just to spam melees all the time. It is very, very good. Now take a look at the aspects. I think the first one we need to go over is definitely going to be knockdown, as you just saw. So your solar supers are enhanced. Deadshot Gun has damage resistance, Marksman Gun has increased duration, and Blade Barrage launches more projectiles. Radiant Final Blows with your equipped throw knife fully refunds your melee energy. So the first part of this exotic is actually cool because we will get increased duration. We'll talk more about that once we get into abilities, but essentially the main thing, again, as you just saw, since we are going to be getting Radiant, you're going to be able to just constantly keep getting your melee over and over again, and you can spam it 24/7. Now the next aspect is actually going to be on your mark. So activate your class ability, landing precision hits grant you and nearby allies increase reload speed and weapon stat for a short duration, stacks 10 times. Final blows while at 10 stacks cure you. So as you see here, every melee kill we're getting, we're actually going to get stacks of on your mark, which is very, very good. When you are at max stacks, which is going to be 10, you're going to basically get cure every kill. And this is so good for your survivability, because essentially every melee kill you get now, you're just healing, which is very, very nice. And again, you're dodging, refreshing that timer of the increased damage, alongside also giving you on your mark. It is very, very good and synergizes extremely well. But now let's actually talk about the abilities real quick. As you've been seeing, we're running Knife Trick to basically have your little 3 melee to get thrown out. They could do a crazy amount of damage, especially when you have Knife Trick procced. So this is going to be your main form of ad clear. And then for the grenade, I like running healing grenades just for survivability purposes, and it gives restoration. And then with Gambler's Dodge is what you want to take. That means if you ever run out of your melees with Ophidia Spade, you actually will get both your charges back when you use one dodge. So you can basically just, if you do run out, you have like a security, I guess, behind you, so you can just keep getting your melees back, and you don't really ever have to worry about running out of them, which is very, very nice. Again, you can literally just throw them all, dodge, and you're good to go. It kind of plays like the Bonk hammer build, but like if you throw the hammer like somewhere out there, it takes a minute to get it back, but now with Ophidia Spade, you can just get it back pretty much instantly. And then for the final thing, it is actually going to be the Deadshot Golden Gun. Now, I know typically people run Marksman, but Deadshot is very good now. If you haven't played in a minute, they have buffed it to basically when you get kills, as you see here, you'll refill a bullet, you refund some duration, and with your aspect also refunded duration, you can basically just act here with the super like crazy. It is a ton of fun. You can just keep spamming it over and over again if there are ads to kill. And since you're gonna be able to build it up pretty quickly, that can also be a pretty good form of ad clear for you. But now let's actually jump into the fragment so we can loop all this together. First off, it's just Singeing, so when we scorch targets, we get class ability energy. Your knife trick is going to be able to scorch targets, so that means you get your class ability back to use the dodge to get your knives back. And then next up is Inverted Hyperion, so whenever we get solar weapon or ability final blows, will increase the duration of Radiant Restoration. Restoration you get from your grenade, you'll get Radiant from your melee because of the fragment Ember of Torches right here. And so now all of that combined together, you can just keep those buffs up forever. Now, I like running Ember of Combustion here because it does get plus 10 melee stat, but as you just saw here, if you actually do get a kill with your super, it will cause an ignition. And since you can use your super quite a lot, and it is focused on ad clear, I really like this. It's not super needed, but like, it's just kind of fun seeing all the explosions, and that plus 10 melee set's nice for damage. But if you want to swap this out, you can totally do so. And then I like running Ember of Solace, so the radiant restoration effects that you get just have increased duration, which is nice. It just makes it so you don't really have to worry about keeping your abilities up, or your buffs up, I should say, because you're just always going to have them, which is just super good. Now, jumping into the armor for this build, you're 100% going to want to run 200 melee if you can get there, because you want to buff your melee damage up as much as possible. I would then recommend trying to get to 100 class ability so you can get your dodge back again, so you can just kind of play into the loop of you never have to worry about losing your melees. You're just always going to have them. But if you want to play in something like a health stat, that's also pretty good. So every orb you pick up, you're going to be able to heal. And then super, if you can get to 100 super, that's also going to be good because you want to spend your super quite a lot with this build too. So if it was me, I would probably go with 200 melee, 100 super, and then try to get to 100 class, and then just throw the rest in health. Now for the armor mods, this is what I'm running if you like to copy them down. But as a close look, I do run a special ammo finder, a hands-on, and a dynamo. Hands-on and dynamo basically going to give you super energy if you dodge your targets, which you do all the time. And then hands-on gives you more super energy or melee kills. I like special ammo finder here because I will be playing into a special ammo shotgun. Now next up is going to be triple heavy-handed, so you make orbs on every single melee kill. This is very good, especially if you are playing into the health stat, but orbs are going to get you armor charge to play to some other things. Next up is going to be just triple resistant mods, and then for the boots, I like to run double recuperation absolution. This is good since you're making orbs all the time. That means you're going to be able to just heal 70 health every time you pick an orb up, and then with absolution, you'll get energy back for literally everything, so you get more grenade and class abilities, mainly what we're going for here. And then for the class item, I like to run powerful traction. So when I dodge, I'll pick all the orbs up around me, which again, you're making orbs all the time. You can dodge all the time. This is very good. And then proximity ward and special finishers. So when I go for a finisher, I will get an overshield for survivability. And then I will make special ammo whenever I use the finisher as well at max armor charge stacks, which again, you will be at all the time because of triple heavy-handed. Now for the weapons with this build, you can run literally whatever you want to. Again, play it into whatever the artifact has, whatever you like. However, I do want to recommend 1-2 punch will actually work with this setup. If you saw my bonk hammer titan build, you'll know this is just going to give you more melee damage. So essentially, you can just throw your melee. As you see, that did about 51 per knife here. So if you get 1-2 punch proc, it's actually going to do 127. So if you ever come across a boss or a tankier target, you can proc a 1-2 punch just to kill them a lot easier. And it is just very, very good for that. Now, with that being said, it is not needed, but if you do have a perfect paradox, I don't even know if you can get this anymore. This is by far the best because it does have the origin trait to basically reload the shotgun on a melee hit. So you never have to reload the gun. Basically just 1-2 punch, it reloads, 1-2 punch, it reloads. It is super, super nice. But again, it's not necessary. You could totally run this build without 1-2 punch. Half the time, I don't even use it. But of course, if you come across like a champion or something, it's very, very good. But all right, jumping into these set bonuses. With this setup, just like the bonk hammer build, you're for sure going to want to run a 2-piece smoke jumper. This is just going to make it so you get some damage reduction every time you pick an orb up, which you're going to be doing all the time. Other stuff, it's kind of up to you. If you want to run a 4-piece smoke jumper, that's probably what I would just recommend. I do want to mention the 4-piece collective psyche here because it does actually synergize with radiant restoration, but I would not really recommend that. The 2-piece smoke jumper is for sure way better. If you want to play a 2-piece anno adapter, it's also very good. If it was me, I'm probably just going 4-piece smoke jumper because you get the special ammo on tankier targets, you get the health, everything like that. Honestly, if you have a luster set, the 4-piece wouldn't even be that bad because solar final blows will heal you, which is obviously pretty good with this. But again, I would just recommend 2-piece smoke jumper and just whatever else you would like. And now for the final part of the build, this is the transmog I am running. I went for a very Western, roguish theme. I think it kind of will fit into the Renegades theme here. I took advantage of the Affiliate Spate chest piece, of course, the Ablaze shader, and overall, I think it actually turned out looking pretty cool. And if you want to make your hunter look like this, definitely be sure to copy it down. Anyways, though, that is going to do it all for the final build in this series. It has been a long journey. Posting 18 videos every day is not the easiest thing to do, but obviously the grind's not going to stop there. This video is being posted the day before Renegades. So when Renegades does come out, you are still going to see daily videos probably for quite a while. So if you've enjoyed the series or enjoyed this build, definitely be sure to stick around. I have a lot of content planned, and if you haven't checked out the other stuff, definitely be sure to do so as well. I would truly appreciate it. Anyway, so that's going to do it all for me. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and of course, sticking around this long. If you did watch all of these videos, it is truly appreciated. But I hope to see you all in Renegades, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace.